Welcome back to round 5 of the Shannons Nationals, and we're about to go live with the last race of the weekend for the Australian Prototype Series. The field is set, and we'll jump away. Daniel Gonzalez, John Paul Drake across the front row. Have a look at Phil Hughes jump away for that start in that radical. Down the inside goes Dave Barham. A lock up on that left front. Contact with Phil Hughes, and it is mayhem in turn 1. Absolute mayhem, dust everywhere. Championship winner from a couple of years ago, Mark Lauke, goes around again. What this does is throws up some contenders that haven't run at the front before, and here we go. This is absolutely come alive in the last race. He's going to charge through the pack. Mark Lauke gets back on with it, puts his head down. Where did Phil Hughes bump back out of there? Can't quite see. He's going through turn 4 now, but what it has done is it's let Daniel Gonzalez and John Paul Drake and Paul Trengo, let's face it, the fastest 3 contenders all weekend, are still alive and well at the front of the pack. Have a look at Glenn Stahlbaum. Can he stay with them? Can John Grant stay with them? It's just opened it right up in turn 1. Winton can do that. The big funnel down into that turn 1. Is there damage on the back of Paul Trengo? No, he's continuing on. Car looks good. There's John Paul Drake driving for Jason Macris, who won't take any further part. He's leading the championship coming into this weekend, and he is now sitting in P2. He has got to go well here. Here comes the Chiron. Has that got any damage after that charge and brake lock up down into turn 1? You'd have to suggest that melee into turn 1 because of Barham locked it up on the inside. Darren Smith here with Cameron Vanderdyk right alongside me, Cam. Torrid first corner.
The big winner out of that, though, was Paul Trengo, just going through screen. He went from 7th up into 3rd, but Gonzalez very quick on cold tyres. He's 2 seconds clear, 2.7 up the road from Paul Trengo and 1.3 seconds up the road from JP Drake. But Trengo very quick through the middle sector. That's him on screen right now, chasing down JP Drake, who's been a race winner. Both of them have been race winners.
Albeit that JP Drake won the non-point scoring race. A bit of a race in the middle of the day. The Father's Day Abandoned Wives Trophy it was. JP proved his wares. Gonzalez didn't take part in that. Neither did Trengo. Both suffering tyre issues, cold tyre graining. At the moment, Gonzalez is not suffering from any cold tyre or anything. He's actually driving away. 2.2 seconds lead over that guy right there. John Paul Drake, the South Australian, for Marina Mirage this weekend. And I believe at the final round at Tailem Bend. Make sure you join us for that at Tailem Bend, 15, 16, 17 of November for the final round of the Shannons Nationals for 2019. That will be the final round of the Australian Prototype Series as well. Of course, round 6 at Sandown International Motor Raceway. Be a massive one. Oh, look at the dirt up through turn 4.
Gonzalez has come into pit lane. So that means JP Drake now leads this race. There he is. Gonzalez, your race leader. If Emma Francesco's down in pit lane, hopefully we get an update as to what happened with the number 11 of Gonzalez, who's now in pit lane. Your new race leader, JP Drake from Paul Trengo and Stahlbaum in 3rd. Barham, after that disaster down at turn 1 at the start of the race, is holding on in 4th.
That's a shame for Realty Lane's very own Daniel Gonzalez. Goes into the pit lane. The number 11, at Queensland Raceway, improved production. Number 11 meant something different, didn't it? It was Nissan Silvia's leaving tyre rubber, exiting turn 3. Unfortunately, Daniel Gonzalez has come through the lane after leading the race. So John Paul Drake and the returning Paul Trengo, the talent from the early 2000s, back on the return path. And isn't he loving it?
So, Darren, that drive-through, as you suggested, came back out. He came from a long way back to lead that race. I wonder, we don't have race management radio in our commentary, but I wonder if that was a start line infringement or starting infringement. We'll find out, hopefully. In the meantime, though, your race leader's on screen. The green entry of JP Drake in the number 44. It's got the horsepower advantage over Paul Trengo, who sits in 2nd place.
Really good strengths and weaknesses of the Wolf and the West here. This is Wolf hunting ground here, getting around through these 90-degree corners, but watch how Paul Trengo starts to flow this West. The WR 1000 representing the CC, so it's only a 1 litre. Yes, that's right, 1 litre power plant, chain-driven, motorcycle engine, train-driven. Look at it bobble around over its length. These cars normally race on the smooth highways, super circuits around Europe, the Australian tracks tend to be a little bit more bumpy. And you can see how they bobble over their wheelbase. And this is it. This is where the West comes into its own. He can put the car just about anywhere on the track. Gets great drive out of these slower corners. But have a look at now, John Paul Drake. Yow! Written across the front of his helmet. Says it all about JP. And here comes Paul Trengove. Couple of South Aussies out in front.
Darren, just confirming it was a drive-through penalty for Gonzalez for a race start infringement. So that was why he came through the pit lane as we go back to our race leaders, JP Drake and Paul Trengove. JP Drake is interesting. His tyres start to come on a couple of laps later than most of the other cars around. And it's all about pressure now for Trengove. He needs to pressure JP Drake to use up all the tyre he has at his disposal. Potentially even pressure him into a mistake.
Run down to turn 4 there. Flames now coming out of the side of the West. And getting the power down very, very nicely. These two operating at the top of their game. John Paul Drake, an amateur racer. Or probably non-professional would be more the title now because he does not behave like an amateur, and neither does Paul Trengove. These guys are driving very, very serious, very purposeful driving in this race. This is the final race for the weekend and a couple of laps longer distance than any of the other races of the weekend. Still 10 laps remaining, so they've been doing 12 lappers. This is a 14-lap race and full championship points, full series points on offer here.
We'll test the fitness level of some of these drivers. You're always working around Winton as Phil Hughes is making his way back through the field, and Gonzalez goes with him.
Zig Vermeister got contact and speared into the wall straight off. This is his spare car. He's already relegated one of the cars to the truck, and he's just damaged his spare car, the number 26 in the wall. Zig Vermeister, not a guy that I would want to be getting jiggy with out there, that's for sure. Big fella. Only very brand new to circuit racing. Here they are, side by side. Two radicals. Daniel Gonzalez weighs in. Phil Hughes gets just off the back there. And that's almost evasive action there, Cam, for Zig Vermeister. The other two came together and he speared out to try and get away from it.
Yeah, it was interesting because I wonder if there was a little bit of contact on the front right at all from Gonzalez and just tripping over each other. That's what's happening with faster cars making their way through the field. And the strengths and weaknesses. Horsepower for JP Drake. And cornering for Paul Trengove. And yet again, a straight bit of road and just enough of a gap to hold on here for JP Drake.
Jason Macris just about jumping out of his skin at home that his car's leading this race. It led the Father's Day Trophy race, and now he is out in front in the final race for the weekend as we go to the lane with Eminata Francesco.
Harry Jones is on the radio this weekend for JP Drake, and I tell you what, he's looking very strong for another race win.
Yeah, he's looking really good this race. We just won the last race 3 of the weekend, and we're in the hot seat for another race win in race 4. So there's a good battle at the moment on track between him and Paul, so hopefully we can finish it off.
Thanks, Harry. I think this role suits you, by the way.
Yeah, thank you very much. See you later.
I guarantee Harry doesn't want to be on a radio much. He'd much rather have a steering wheel in his hand.
It might suit him, but it's not putting a big smile on his face, quite like putting a full-face helmet on and strapping the belts on, that's for sure. I get that. I do get that. Marina Mirage, beautiful Wolf
I
Tornado.
wonder if Harry's as hard on his driver as you were on your drivers back in the day, Darren.
I hope so. You don't put all that money on the line and not make sure you do a good effort with it, that's for sure. Lucky we didn't have radios back then, eh, Cam?
Very much so.
Marina Mirage doing a terrific job here. Well done, Jason Macris. Unfortunately not going to take the title this weekend or this year. Bowed out for family. Good on him for that too. But handing the car over to John Paul Drake to see if this particular vehicle can take 2 titles in a row. Coming from a little way back, just a little way back, Jason Macris, of course, come into this round had 243. Dave Barham had 239. Dave Barham hasn't not had an ideal round. Having said that, currently sitting in P3 in this race. John Paul Drake was is 4th into the championship hunt or title hunt with 218. And JP will come away third, because at the moment Paul Trengove and Daniel Gonzalez will tie for the race for the round win. I think the count back will go Daniel Gonzalez' way, being that he won 2 races already. So will be awarded the round win for this round of the series. And this is back down the field with Phil Hughes and John Grant, 6th and 7th on the road. Getting a good bit of focus on Phil Hughes there. 2 radicals, the very original SR3 and an SR3 RS, with John Grant, Susan Esselmont behind Mark Lauke down there in 9th at the moment. Mark Lauke, after spearing off on turn 1, down there in 8th place. Not a great weekend either for Mark. 99 points he'll get out of it, but he has been doing lots of spinning, and just at his own admission, he still has not got his head around how the Wolf Tornado works, the way the turbo comes on. And still enjoying it though, still really enjoying his motorsport as we watch the back of John Paul Drake and Paul Trengove. Interesting here, this is where Paul Trengove has to start really using the advantage of the West and just apply the pressure to John Paul Drake, because at the moment John Paul Drake's really having it his own way. 0.7 of a second the lead there, it's visual. He'll be getting black and yellow in his mirrors as he comes on to the short straight running up to the famous Winton sweeper. One of the trickier corners in Australian motorsport. On the exit, off camber, try to get the car to hold on and then change direction once the track flattens out. And a very, very flat corner, and a hairpin corner at that too. So cars, it can be a bit of a struggle to get through there. They want to understeer off as you start to get the rhythm here. Have a look at the way the West is working hard. Great shot into the hands there of Paul Trengove, applying his profession beautifully there. Feedback from the front wheels, you can see him correcting it. Vernier perfect there. Absolutely doing everything he needs to do. Giving away a little bit of technology, giving away a little bit of horsepower, but certainly matching the talent of our race leader is Paul Trengove. John Paul Drake driving away with it. Just dropped back into 0.6 of a second, so we're only talking 1 and 2 tenths of a second here and there where the advantages are and / disadvantages.
1:20.7, fastest lap of the race last time around by JP Drake, and it was by doing a personal best through the middle and best of all in the 1st and 3rd sectors. So a good lap, the gap out to 1.2 seconds now. But what's interesting here as well, Darren, is that the times are so far away from what we saw earlier today. A 1:18.8 by John Paul Drake earlier today, and the best so far of a 1:20.7. Having said that, he's gone faster again to the 1st sector.
The other one is that Dave Barham is also on the move in the orange Chiron. The guy that locked it up down into turn 1. Don't think there was any coming together. It was just evasive action as the Chiron locked up. Mark Lauke found himself with nowhere to go and went spearing off. Dave Barham also regained quickly. Phil Hughes also went off in that melee at the first corner. Just looking at the flashes on the front of John Paul Drake's car. And there he is, Paul Trengove. Look at Paul Trengove, he's got the chin down on the chest, getting the sun out of his eyes as he comes around that corner, really glaring into that Iridian lens helmet, Iridian visored helmet. Just ducking his head right down onto his chest to make sure he can keep good vision for that run onto pit straight.
JP Drake starting to break the back of Paul Trengove though. Fastest of all on that last lap, a 1:20.0. 9 tenths, nearly a full second up the road on one lap. So JP Drake very comfortable in his 44. With Trengove, Barham, Gonzalez. The gaps between the drivers in 3rd and 4th with 4 laps remaining, I don't think we'll see a change for the order. And the way Paul Trengove is dropping back now, 2.4 seconds off the pace, just not able to run with John Paul Drake. Barham, personal best to the 1st sector. He sits in 3rd. He's 8.0 seconds down the road, though, from Trengove. And Trengove now finally dips into the 27s through that middle sector. So 1.8 seconds. Maybe he's just waited, got a little bit of life back in the tyres, or let JP Drake run. But 3.5 laps remaining, Darren. And Barham now, personal best for the first 2 sectors. Gonzalez, 18.2 seconds down the road. He won't play any part on the podium unless something happens to our front 3 cars.
3 laps now remaining in the penultimate round of the Australian Prototype Series. This is the battle with Glenn Stahlbaum and Phil Hughes, the West WR 1000. And it's a Radical SR3. Have a look at Phil Hughes there. Sticks the nose right under the rear wing. He's going to be left out to dry here. Let's see if the Radical's got some more straight line pace. He's going to have to duck back under here. The Glenn Stahlbaum car, number 70. And here he goes, the number 42. Just tucks back in behind the West WR 1000. And he just looks to have lost a little bit of forward momentum there. The West getting away nicely. Have a look at the way the West turns in. Very twitchy. Using the air under the car to help it stick to the road. Very aero dependent, the West. The Radical, a bit more mechanical grip. A bit more to tune as far as shock absorbers and tyres go. Whereas the West, very, very aero dependent. The rear wing is almost an extension of the back bodywork there to clean up the air. Have a look at now. Phil Hughes monstering the back of the number 70. Looks to the inside. Does the Radical have it? He does. The number 70 opens the corner right up there. Glenn just said, righto, you want it. I'm ideally suited to out wide here, and the Radical just took the gap.
That was my read as well. Hughes just pressured him into it, and Stahlbaum just ran a little wide, let him through, continue on racing. Hughes, much faster car. He's been great this weekend, Phil Hughes. It was unfortunate that turn 1 incident that he had to avoid from Barham, but I've been really impressed with Phil Hughes, and he's just his aggressive nature of his driving, but aggressive but clean, Darren.
Yeah, Phil knows motorsport. It's his business. It's what he's done. Oh, and here comes Mark Lauke weighing in on it as well. Where did the number 55 appear from? He has just returned right at the back of shop there. Mark Lauke in the Lauke Flour Mills car. Almost Australia's most recognisable livery, isn't it? The brightest of yellows. And the matte black background. And here he comes, returning from that first corner off. The Jam Motorsport prepared Wolf weighing right back in it. He's got currently 100 points up in this round. And Mark Lauke really does need to drag some good points. Currently sitting 5th in the title hunt on a total of 214. So that'll bring him to 314, but we'll leave him quite a bit behind the front 3. He's fighting back. And Stahlbaum would know about it now. He's had Phil Hughes come through. Now Mark Lauke's got iterations on taking that spot as we're closing in on the result here. Here comes Lauke, drives on past. Hangs onto it. Hangs onto it very tight indeed. Runs up to turn 11 and gets the job done on Glenn Stahlbaum. Here's our race leader, John Paul Drake. Not time to celebrate just yet, but we're nearing the time of the weekend. He's not going to take the round, and he's not going to take the round by only 1 or 2 points. 2 points. Daniel Gonzalez will take the round. Paul Trencove will come in second, and John Paul Drake third. So it'll be 115, 114, and 113. 3 points for the round between the top 3 finishers in the title hunt. The borrowed car from Jason Macris, or more like the offered up car from Jason Macris to John Paul Drake. Comes around turn 11. This will be one excited race driver. He's excited when he finishes 10th, this guy. But to get 2 race wins on race day Sunday, very happy indeed. There it is. John Paul Drake takes victory in race 4, the final race for the penultimate round of the Australian Prototype Series. Home for second is Paul Trencove, who continues his mammoth return to motorsport. There he is. Peace to you too, brother. Well done. Yo! Across the front of the helmet. He's given a bit of hang loose there too. A couple of fans over the fence just waving their wolf flags at him. And we wind it on down. Dave Barham gets it home in 3rd place. The Australian Prototype Series, and that is pretty much the round Daniel Gonzalez to the line there. Realty Lane's very own Daniel Gonzalez brings it home, takes the round on 115. Paul Trengove 114, and John Paul Drake with 2 wins this weekend, albeit that one wasn't a point score race, just a trophy race, gets home with 113 points. So a big thank you up to Queensland to Jason Macris for slotting John Paul Drake into the Marina Mirage Wolf. John Paul Drake takes out this race for Jam Motorsport, the Wolf Tornado and Marina Mirage. Paul Trengove gets home in the OTR White Marquee West WR 1000. Dave Barham, great job. Sharon LMP 3004. Daniel Gonzalez home in 4th. Phil Hughes for Hughes Supercar Services, the first of the Radicals, home there as well.